The rain hammered the fire escape like 1,000 tiny accusations, each drop echoing the frantic pounding of Jacob's heart as he burst through the door of Ryan's cramped Brooklyn walk-up. "Jake, man, I can't do this anymore. I need you," Ryan choked out, his voice raw over the phone just 20 minutes ago, pulling Jacob from a dead sleep into the storm-soaked nightmare. But nothing prepared him for the sight inside. Ryan, shirtless and trembling, a fresh bruise blooming purple on his ribs, clutching a crumpled letter that screamed betrayal in black ink. Jacob slammed the door behind him, water pooling at his feet on the scarred hardwood floor. The apartment smelled of stale takeout and desperation, fairy lights strung haphazardly over the kitchenette casting flickering shadows that danced like ghosts across Ryan's pale skin. Ryan's eyes, those deep hazel pools Jacob had drowned in 1,000 times without admitting it, were red-rimmed, wild. "It's him, Jake. My own fucking brother. He found out. About everything." Jacob's stomach twisted, a cold knot of dread forming as he crossed the room in 2 strides, pulling Ryan into a hug that was equal parts lifeline and lie. Everything. The word hung between them like smoke, thick with the secrets they'd buried under years of late-night confessions, shared beers on the rooftop, and that one almost kiss under the 4th of July fireworks 2 summers back, when the world had exploded in color and neither of them had the guts to follow through. Ryan's body sagged against him, warm and solid despite the shivers, and Jacob held on tighter, inhaling the familiar scent of cedar cologne mixed with sweat. "Tell me what happened. From the start." "I'm here." Ryan pulled back just enough to meet his gaze, his breath hitching like a sob he was too proud to let loose. They collapsed onto the sagging couch, the letter thrust into Jacob's hands like a grenade with the pin half pulled. It was from Alex, Ryan's older brother, the golden boy of the Gallagher family, fresh off a stint in the Marines and back in the city playing family enforcer. The words were a venomous rant. "You're a disgrace, Ryan. Mom and Dad built this life for us, and you're gonna throw it away chasing some fag fantasy? I told you to man up years ago. Stay away from that Jake kid, he's poison. Or I'll make sure everyone knows what a freak you are." Jacob's blood ran cold. Alex had always been the protector, the one who roughed up bullies in high school and covered for their teenage screw-ups. But this was a knife in the gut, twisted with homophobic bile that Jacob had hoped died out with their awkward adolescence in that Rust Belt suburb outside Pittsburgh. "We were fine, Jake," Ryan whispered, rubbing his bruised ribs gingerly. "I mean, not fine, but surviving. I moved here for the graphic design gig. You for your barista empire at that hipster spot in Williamsburg. We had our routine brunch Sundays, complaining about dates that went nowhere. A ghost of a smile flickered, but it died fast. Last night, I finally told Alex about us. Not us, but the feelings. The ones I've been choking down since we were 16. He showed up unannounced, drunk off his ass from some vet bar crawl, and when I wouldn't snap out of it, Ryan trailed off, gesturing vaguely at the bruise. Jacob's jaw clenched. He wanted to drive to Alex's shitty Queens apartment right then, fists flying, but Ryan's hand on his arm stopped him. "No. That's what he wants. A fight. Proof I'm the problem." Jacob nodded, though rage simmered under his skin like bad coffee left too long on the burner. He'd loved Ryan since they were kids stealing glances in the high school locker room, bodies changing in ways that scared them both. But love in their world was a minefield. Catholic guilt from Ryan's side, Jacob's own parade of failed hookups that always circled back to what if it's him. They danced around it, Best friends who shared everything except the truth. Until now, when Alex's betrayal had ripped the veil clean off. "Stay with me tonight," Jacob said, voice steady despite the storm inside. "We'll figure this out in the morning. Alex is an asshole, but he's family. Families fix shit." Ryan nodded, leaning his head on Jacob's shoulder, and for a moment, the rain outside softened to a lullaby. But as Jacob draped a blanket over them, his mind raced ahead. How deep did this wound go? And what if fixing it meant finally facing the one thing they'd both been running from, their own hearts? Dawn crept in like a thief, gray light filtering through the blinds to paint Ryan's face in stripes of regret. Jacob woke first, his neck stiff from the awkward couch angle, Ryan's arm still slung possessively across his chest. For a heartbeat, he let himself pretend this was normal, waking up tangled with the man who'd haunted his dreams, the one whose laugh could turn a shitty shift into poetry. But reality crashed back with the buzz of Ryan's phone on the coffee table, Alex's name flashing like a warning siren. Ryan stirred, groaning as he snatched it up. "What the hell do you want?" His voice was gravel, laced with the kind of exhaustion that came from crying yourself empty. Jacob sat up, listening to the one-sided tirade. Alex's slurred apologies mixed with justifications, something about tough love and saving the family name. Ryan's face hardened, the bruise on his ribs a stark reminder under the hem of his tank top. "You don't get to hit me and then play hero, Alex. We're done. Don't call again." He hung up, tossing the phone aside like it burned. Jacob reached for him, but Ryan flinched just a micro-twitch, enough to send a pang through Jacob's chest. "Hey," Jacob murmured, keeping his hands visible, palms up like he was calming a spooked horse. "You did good. Boundaries, right? That's what all those podcasts you love say." Ryan let out a bitter laugh, running a hand through his tousled dark hair. "Podcasts? Yeah, because queer trauma unpacks itself over oat milk lattes." He stood, pacing the narrow living room, bare feet scuffing the rug. The apartment was a testament to their shared chaos. Ryan's sketches pinned to the walls, vibrant murals of New York skylines infused with hidden rainbows, interspersed with Jacob's forgotten hoodies and the half-dead fern they'd adopted on a whim. "I thought telling him would. I don't know. Free me. Make it real. Instead, he turns it into this weapon. And now, what if he tells mom and dad? Or worse, outs me to the whole goddamn family group chat?" Jacob rose, closing the distance without crowding. "Then we handle it. Together. Like always." The words felt loaded, together hanging in the air like an invitation neither had RSVP'd to. Ryan stopped pacing, turning to face him, and in that suspended moment, Jacob saw it all. The fear, the fire, the flicker of something deeper, unguarded. Ryan's hand found Jacob's, fingers interlacing with a squeeze that said more than words ever could. "Jake, last night, when you showed up, I realized I don't just need you as my best friend. I need you. Period." The confession landed like a spark on dry tinder. Jacob's pulse thundered, every nerve alight. He leaned in, foreheads touching, breaths mingling in the scant space between. "I've been yours since the day you punched that jerk for calling me a fairy in 8th grade. I just waited for you to catch up." Their lips met then, tentative at first, a brush of uncertainty giving way to hunger. Ryan tasted like salt and home, his hands fisting in Jacob's damp shirt as the kiss deepened, years of pent-up longing uncoiling in a rush that left them both breathless. They broke apart only when the world intruded, Ryan's stomach growling like a chainsaw. Laughter bubbled up, shattering the tension, and Jacob grinned. Bagels? My treat. Then we plot how to bury Alex's bullshit for good. As they dressed, Ryan in one of Jacob's oversized tees that smelled like him, they moved with a new ease, touches lingering, glances loaded. Out on the street, the rain had cleared to a crisp autumn chill, yellow leaves skittering across the sidewalk like confetti from a party they were finally invited to. But bliss was fleeting. By noon, as they demolished everything bagels slathered in cream cheese at a corner deli, Ryan's phone lit up again. Not Alex this time, but a text from their cousin Mia. Family dinner tonight at Aunt Karen's. Alex says it's urgent. You coming? Ryan's fork froze midair, schmear dripping onto the plate. Shit. If I bail, it looks suspicious. If I go, Jacob wiped his mouth, resolve hardening. We go. Together. Show them we're unbreakable. It was bravado, pure and simple. He knew the Gallagher clan, with their potato salad judgments and passive-aggressive toasts. But for Ryan, he'd walk into hell with a smile. Little did he know, the real inferno was just igniting. The drive to Aunt Karen's in Queens felt like a funeral procession, the Holland Tunnel swallowing them whole under the weight of unspoken dread. Ryan gripped the wheel of his beat-up Civic, knuckles white, while Jacob fiddled with the radio, landing on some indie station crooning about Lost Boys and city lights. Remember that road trip to the Finger Lakes? Jacob said, aiming for distraction. We got lost. Ended up at that dive bar with the drag queen karaoke. You belted, I will survive like a champ. Ryan's lips quirked. And you tried to twerk during Single Ladies. Nearly broke a hip. The memory softened the edges. But as they pulled up to the squat ranch house on a tree-lined block, faux shutters and a Gallagher's Unite flag flapping in the breeze, the armor cracked. Cars lined the driveway. Uncle Tom's SUV, Mia's Prius, and Alex's jacked-up truck, gleaming like a threat. Inside, the air was thick with turkey tetrazzini and tension. Aunt Karen enveloped them in a flour-dusted hug, her apron reading Kiss the Cook in faded script. Boys, it's been too long. Ryan, you look peaky. Everything okay? Her eyes darted to the bruise peeking from Ryan's collar, but she didn't press, bustling them toward the dining room where the family sprawled like a bad sitcom cast. Alex lounged at the head, beer in hand, his buzz-cut and tattooed forearms screaming, I own this room. He shot Ryan a look, half smirk, half challenge, before nodding at Jacob like he was just the sidekick. Jake. Good of you to tag along. Keeping my little bro out of trouble? The words dripped condescension, and Jacob bit back a retort, sliding into a seat beside Ryan under the watchful eye of Grandma Gallagher, who clutched her rosary like a shield. Dinner unfolded in fits, laughter over old stories, the clink of forks on china, Mia's baby photos passed around like contraband. But undercurrents swirled. Alex's pointed glances, Dad's furrowed brow as he quizzed Ryan about that city stress. Then, midway through pie, Alex cleared his throat, the room falling silent like a held breath. Family, we gotta talk. Ryan's got something on his mind. Right, bro? Spill it. Ryan's fork clattered, his face draining to ash. Jacob's hand found his under the table, a silent I've got you. But Alex wasn't done. He leaned forward, voice dropping to that faux concern timbre. Come on, don't be shy. Tell him about your lifestyle choices. Or should I? The betrayal landed like a sucker punch. Alex's eyes gleaming with the sadistic glee of a boy who'd always needed to win. Chaos erupted. Mom's gasp. Dad's, what the hell does that mean? Grandma's murmured prayer. Ryan shoved back from the table, chair scraping like nails on chalkboard. You son of a bitch, he hissed at Alex, storming out the back door into the yard, where fireflies danced mockingly in the dusk. Jacob followed, heart hammering, the screen door slamming behind him like a guillotine. Ryan paced the grass, fists clenched, tears carving tracks down his cheeks. He promised. Last night, after everything, he said he'd back off. Jacob pulled him close, shielding him from the windows where silhouettes gathered like vultures. He's scared. Scared of losing the version of you he controls. But this is on him. Inside, voices rose, accusations, defenses, the shatter of a glass. Mia's plea cut through. Alex, what did you do? But Ryan was unraveling, sobs racking his frame. I can't go back in there. Not like this. Jacob cupped his face, thumbs brushing away tears. Then we don't. We leave. Start our own family, me, you, that Fern back home. It was half joke, half vow, and Ryan's laugh broke through the pain, watery but real. They slipped away while the storm brewed indoors, tires squealing on the quiet street. Back in Brooklyn, the apartment welcomed them like a sanctuary, rain pattering anew against the panes. Ryan collapsed onto the bed, pulling Jacob down with him. Thank you, he whispered, fingers tracing Jacob's jaw. For seeing me. All of me. Their kiss this time was slower, a reclamation, lips mapping apologies and promises, hands exploring with the reverence of survivors. Clothes shed in whispers, bodies aligning like puzzle pieces long separated. Ryan's skin was a canvas of freckles and scars, Jacob's touch a brushstroke of worship. They moved together in the dim glow, gasps and murmurs filling the space where words failed. It was messy, fervent, a love-making born of fire and fracture. Ryan arching under him, Jacob's name a litany on his lips, until release crashed over them like waves on Coney Island shore. After, tangled in sheets, Ryan's head on Jacob's chest, the world felt conquerable. What now? Ryan asked, voice soft against the steady thrum of Jacob's heart. We fight, Jacob replied, kissing his temple. For us. And tomorrow, we call a lawyer about that bruise. Alex doesn't get to write our ending, but endings, Jacob would learn, had a way of rewriting themselves. Weeks blurred into a fragile normalcy, the kind stitched together with coffee runs and stolen afternoons. Jacob's shifts at the cafe stretched long, steaming oat milk lattes for hungover artists while his mind wandered to Ryan's latest sketch, a portrait of them silhouetted against the Manhattan skyline, hands entwined. Ryan, meanwhile, poured his rage into canvas. Abstract swirls of crimson and indigo, betrayal rendered in bold strokes that sold surprisingly well at a pop-up gallery in Bushwick. Alex went radio silent, a ghost in their periphery. No more texts, no drive-bys. It should have been relief, but suspicion gnawed at Jacob like a bad tooth. He's plotting, Ryan said one evening over takeout pad thai, chopsticks hovering. My brother's not the forgive and forget type. He's the bury the body type. Jacob squeezed his knee under the table. Then we stay sharp. Date nights. Though that's non-negotiable. Their first official one was at a queer poetry slam in the village. Candlelit basement thick with spoken word fire. Ryan read a piece about fractured brothers and mended hearts, his voice steady, Jacob's applause the loudest. Later, in a dive bar with rainbow flags draping the ceiling, they slow danced to some indie folk tune, bodies swaying close amid the crowd. "This is us now," Jacob murmured into Ryan's hair. No more hiding, yet shadows lingered. Ryan's calls home grew strained. Mom's updates laced with "Alex says hi," like a barb dipped in honey. And Jacob's own family, staunch Ohio Methodists, loomed on the horizon, Thanksgiving tickets burning a hole in his wallet. "They'll love you," he lied to himself in the mirror, practicing introductions that rang hollow. The crack came on a crisp November Friday, the kind where frost etches the windows like lace. Jacob got home late, key scraping the lock, to find Ryan hunched over his laptop, face ashen. "What is it?" Jacob dropped his bag, crossing to him in a heartbeat. Ryan turned the screen. A Facebook post from Alex, time-stamped hours ago. A photo of the two of them as kids, grinning gap-toothed at a Steelers game, captioned with a novella of bullshit. "Miss my brother. Wish he'd come home and stop letting bad influences drag him down the wrong path. Family first. Always. Pray for Ryan." Real men comments flooded in. Aunts with praying hands emojis, uncles with beer toasts, cousins chiming get him back on track. But the kicker? A tagged link to a grainy photo from that poetry slam. Mia must have snapped it. Ryan mid-reading, arms slung around Jacob, both laughing. Underneath, Alex's addendum. "This ain't us, Gallagher style." Ryan slammed the laptop shut, breath ragged. He didn't just out me to the family. He blasted it to the whole fucking town back home. My old job, high school friends, everyone. His voice cracked, fury and grief warring in his eyes. Jacob pulled him up, into an embrace that felt like bracing for impact. "He's trying to isolate you. Make you choose, him or us." "No," Ryan snarled, pulling back with fire in his veins. "He's forcing my hand. I need to go back. Face this head on, before it poisons everything." Jacob's protest died on his lips. He saw the resolve, the Gallagher steel that Alex had twisted but couldn't break. "Fine. But I'm coming. We're in this. Remember." They booked flights that night, crashing into bed with arms locked tight, lovemaking a defiant ritual urgent, unyielding, Ryan's nails raking Jacob's back as if to mark him indelible. Pittsburgh welcomed them with biting wind and memories that stung like salt in wounds. The Gallagher house squatted on the same cul-de-sac, vinyl siding peeling like old skin, Dad's Ford rusting in the drive. Ryan knocked, Jacob at his flank like a shield. The door swung open to Mom's tear-streaked face, pulling Ryan into a hug that swallowed him whole. "Oh, baby. We didn't know," Alex said. Inside, the living room was a war zone of wilted poinsettias and unspoken accusations. Dad paced by the fireplace, mustache twitching, while Grandma dozed in her recliner, oblivious. Alex sprawled on the couch, feigning surprise. "Bro, you came. And brought your friend." The word slithered out, laced with venom. Ryan didn't flinch. "Cut the crap, Alex. You outed me to save face? After everything, the punch, the promises." The room thickened, Mom sinking into a chair, hands clasped white-knuckled. Alex shrugged, but his eyes darted guilt, or just deflection. "Tough love. You were spiraling. That city's turning you soft. Jake here's proof, leading you astray." He jabbed a finger at Jacob, who stepped forward, voice low thunder. You don't know shit about us. Ryan's stronger than you'll ever be, because he chooses love over your poison. The air crackled. Dad's boys. A feeble dam against the flood. Alex surged up, face inches from Jacob's. Love? This fag parade? You're the reason he's broken. The slur exploded like shrapnel, and Ryan shoved between them, chest heaving. Enough. You're not my keeper. Alex. You hit me. You betrayed me. And for what? To feel big in this dying town. The dam broke then. Alex crumbling, not with fists but fists unclenching, voice cracking. I was scared. Okay. Scared you'd leave us like Dad almost did after the plant closed. Mom's sick. Cancer's back. I thought, if I pushed, you'd snap back to normal. To us. Silence swallowed the room, heavy as lead. Mom's sob confirmed it. Dad's slump the rest. Ryan staggered back. Jacob's arm his anchor. Why didn't you say? We could've. Fuck. Alex. We're family. Tears carved paths down Alex's stubbled cheeks. I fucked up. Big time. Seeing you happy in that photo. It gutted me. But I was wrong. About all of it. The confrontation stretched into hours. Raw confessions under the hum of the furnace. Apologies traded like fragile glass. Jacob stayed silent sentinel, his hand in Ryan's a quiet vow. By midnight, as snow dusted the windows, tentative peace settled. Hugs, not hooks. Understanding, not ultimatums. Alex extended a hand to Jacob. Shaky, genuine. Take care of him. Better than I did. On the flight home, Ryan leaned on Jacob's shoulder, the city lights below a glittering promise. It's not fixed. Not overnight. But it's human. Messy. Like us. Jacob kissed his knuckles. And that's enough. Months later, spring thawed the scars. Ryan's art show in Soho drew a crowd, Alex in the front row, Mom beaming beside him, her chemo curls hidden under a chic scarf. Jacob proposed that night, not with rings but words on a rooftop under stars. Build a life with me. The real one. Ryan's yes was a laugh. Kiss. A future unfurling. Betrayal had shattered them, but in the shards, they'd found something unbreakable. Love, chosen and fierce, in the heart of America's beating, bruised soul.